This is one of the best ways to travel around China. It's fast, affordable, and surprisingly comfortable. China's high-speed trains don't just run fast, they practically fly across the country at over 300 kilometers per hour. Imagine going from Beijing in the far north all the way to Shenzhen in the deep south, a distance of over 2,400 kilometers in only 8 hours. That's just insane. And with the over 48,000 kilometer network continuing to expand, that time is only going to get even shorter. With that kind of speed, less restrictions than flying, and the bonus of stunning views along the way, it's no wonder that in 2024 alone, more than 3.3 billion journeys were made on China's high-speed trains. But if it's your first time taking a high-speed train in China, the process to buy a ticket can be confusing. That's why in this video, I'm going to walk you through the different ways to buy train tickets in China, as well as how to book your tickets step by step on a recommended platform. I'll cover the different seat classes, how check-in works, and everything else you need to know for a smooth trip. And lastly, I'll cover things to expect at the train station and other must-know tips. Make sure to stick around to the end to hear all of them and avoid derailing your travel plans. Let's get started. So there are a couple of ways you can buy a high-speed train ticket. The first way is to go the old-fashioned route, which is to buy the ticket at the station. But just keep in mind that stations are often busy, staff may speak limited English, and you risk tickets being sold out, especially around peak travel season. So I strongly recommend you book your tickets in advance to avoid last-minute surprises and the stress. The second way is to book through China Railways' official app or website called 12306 up to 15 days in advance of your travel date. This is the cheapest way to book your tickets since there are no extra fees. But travelers have reported that 12306 can be tricky to figure out. It will sometimes ask for a local Chinese phone number or run into ID verification issues. You also can't buy tickets during certain hours, and passport verification will take anywhere from 3 to 5 business days. So you need to factor this in if you choose to purchase tickets this way. This could be worth doing if you see yourself buying many train tickets, but otherwise, for the sake of convenience, I recommend the third way, which is to use Trip.com. Trip.com is the international version of Ctrip, a popular online travel service used by China's locals. You can book up to 2 weeks in advance, and this is the easiest, most foreigner-friendly option, as it's all in English. You can book your tickets whenever you want. They accept all foreign cards and digital wallets. You can request to pre-book tickets for dates that are really far out, and they also occasionally have discount codes and stack with cashback apps like Rakuten to help you save. You can also use the same site to book many other things like hotels, attractions, cheap eSIMs, and much more at great prices. And perhaps the biggest perk is that there's 24/7 customer service in case something goes wrong. I do want to make it clear that Trip.com does charge a small fee. It's usually around $2 to $5 per ticket, but to me, it's worth the convenience. I'll now show you how to book a train on the Trip.com website step by step. First, you'll head to the train booking page. I've shared a direct link to that in the description so you can follow along. So on this page, you'll first enter your departure and arrival stations. Make sure you triple check these, as there are multiple stations per city. So for example, if I type in Beijing, you can see all these different stations show up in the dropdown. And you can see on a map that they're spread out all over the city and can easily add half an hour or more to your trip if you pick the wrong one. And then you'll enter departure date. And you can leave the return field empty if you're doing a one-way trip. Next, click on search on the right, and then you'll see a full list of results. There will be a lot since it shows every available train option, both the high-speed and the regular trains. We can filter here at the top for high-speed trains only. We can sort by earliest to latest departure, or sort by the fastest travel time. And then on the left, you can also filter by the stations, the departure time, the seat type, things like that. Next, you'll choose the train time that you want. Let's say I want the first one here at the top. I would click on select on the right, and then it'll prompt you to pick a seat type. So if you choose the G trains, which are the fastest trains, then your options are generally second class, first class, and business class. Second class is the equivalent of economy class on airplanes with a padded seat that's 42 centimeters wide. It has the basic features you would expect for an economy seat. So, the foldable table, you have a 45-degree recline. It's comfortable enough, and it has 5 seats in each row in a 3x2 configuration. So it's anywhere between 70 to 90 passengers in a second class car. The exact number will vary by train, but it's going to be around there, and you can definitely expect the highest density of passengers in second class. And naturally, that means it is a little bit noisier. Next, we have first class, which really means first class coach, not actual first class. It's more equivalent to premium economy. So the main difference between second class and first class are the seat sizes are a little bit different. The first class ones are 5 centimeters wider at 47 centimeters, and there's 4 seats per row instead of 5. There's also more legroom. The seats are more comfortable with more cushioning, and they recline more. Plus, since there's less seats, there's less passengers per car, and therefore it's generally less noisy compared to second class cars. As far as cost, this will run you about 20% more than the second class tickets. And lastly, we have business class, which is the most expensive option and is a train version of an airplane business class seat. So a business class ticket comes with amenities like a VIP lounge before boarding, priority boarding, complimentary meals, a dedicated attendant for the car, and things like that. As you would expect, the seat costs significantly more, running about 3 times the price of a second class ticket. Some trains will only have about 5 business class seats, while others will have 20, but either way, this is going to be the most spacious and quiet option of the 3. Now, once you've selected the train and the seat type, you'll next enter the passenger information. Make sure that your passport number and your full name match exactly what's on your passport in order to avoid running into problems. Also, if you're traveling with family and you want to sit together, make sure you book them all in one order. And if you book it separately, you'll probably end up scattered across the car. Next, you'll pay for the tickets, and note that this doesn't mean that you have the tickets quite yet. Trip.com is a third-party vendor, and they will need to buy the tickets on your behalf. Instead, you'll get a follow-up booking confirmation once it's finalized with your card number and your seat number. A note here that you won't receive an actual ticket or a QR code because your passport is your ticket. Or rather, the ticket is linked to your passport, and so when you scan your passport at the station, your ticket will show up. So once you get a booking confirmation, you're all set with that ticket. I also want to show you guys that you can pre-reserve tickets for future dates, which are any date with the little clock icon underneath. If your date is over 15 days away, you'll have the option to add yourself to a waitlist to have Trip.com help you book it once the tickets are available. This is generally reliable, but sometimes if you're trying to waitlist a ticket during a popular time when tickets sell quickly, then you may not get the ticket that you want. So don't just assume you have a confirmed ticket yet. Now, before we continue, if you found this helpful so far, make sure to take a second to tap that like button and consider subscribing for more helpful China travel content. Now that your ticket's all booked, let's talk about what you can expect at the train station and some must-know tips. First off, be sure to triple check that you're going to the right railway station. It's so easy to make a mistake and end up in the wrong station since they all sound very similar. I would also aim to arrive there 45 to 60 minutes early. Chinese train stations are fairly big, and if it's your first time, figuring out where to go can be confusing. The trains are also extremely punctual and will not wait for late passengers, so make sure you're in your seat well before departure time. Once you arrive at the railway station, you're going to be greeted by the first security checkpoint near the entrance. Similar to airport security screenings, you're going to put your bag through the machine. Travel restrictions are pretty similar, but not nearly as strict as those at the airport. So don't bring any sharp objects, aerosols, things like that. But you'll be happy to hear that you can bring your drinks along with your food through security, and many do. As far as luggage restrictions, passengers are officially allowed to carry up to 20 kilograms, aka 44 pounds for my fellow Americans, of baggage for free. But no one's going to actually weigh your bags, so as long as it's not wildly oversized and can get through the aisles, you're perfectly fine. You can bring 2 bags, it doesn't matter. Now, once you send through your bags, it's time for you to go through as well. But instead of following the crowd of locals who are scanning their China IDs on the automated system, you have to look for a passport scanner, which is usually manned by security personnel on the side. This is actually a perk because it's almost always a separate line that's very short, and then you just hand over your passport and they'll confirm your booking. Once you're through, you'll look for the gate and the train number from the ticket confirmation and locate the right gate to wait by. While you're waiting, you can also check out the various vendors in the station. And then about 15 minutes ahead of the scheduled departure time, they'll make an announcement and start letting people on the train. There will be one more round of ID checks before you can board, and again, look for the passport scanner and the security personnel instead of lining up for the automatic gates. Once you're through, look for the car and the seat that you've reserved, get settled, and you'll be on your way shortly. Now for some other must-know tips, my first tip is to always compare your options. While high-speed trains are great, they may not always be the best option if you're going a really long distance. For example, once a ride gets to around the 10-hour mark, the ticket might cost more than a flight. Take a look at this trip from Beijing to Kunming, for example. It would take around 11 hours and roughly $170 by train. But if I were to travel by air, it would take me under 4 hours and cost about $150. So from both the time and cost perspective, the train option is not as appealing as it is for shorter trips. And one other tip I'll mention here is that it's best to avoid planning your travels during major Chinese holidays, which are during these dates for 2025 and these dates for 2026. While it can be a cool experience, there will be a lot of people. We're talking hundreds of millions of people competing for tickets during this time, leading to more expensive tickets if you can even get one at all. It's also going to be insanely crowded with a sea of people, so unless that's what you're looking for, please plan accordingly. You're now ready to zip across China at high speed, and if you're looking for more China travel tips, check out my other videos or my website for a free China Essentials guide. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.